I'm David Lombardino, Editor-in-Chief of DLA Editors and Proofers, here to give you a tip on how to write an outstanding personal statement. And today I would like specifically to touch on the red flag of being a DO as opposed to an MD when applying for medical residency. Now you may be watching this video and think, well, absolutely a DO is not a red flag, and I'm going to tell you that absolutely a DO is a red flag, whether you want to believe it or not. And where does that come from? It comes from a bias that exists, or a stereotype that of course is not very well founded, but based primarily on personal impression, that DOs are generally not as smart or not as academically ready for medical residency compared to MDs. Now the truth is that there's very scant data on this, because it very rarely happens that a DO candidate takes the same test as the MD candidate and that there's adequate data to support a comparison. But nonetheless, the biases exist, and those biases exist primarily on what a program director perceives to be his or her personal experience with DOs versus MDs. So if you get a DO who really wasn't very good academically, who needed to be put on academic probation in medical residency in that program director's program, and that's the only DO the program director has ever known, well, of course, there's going to be a bias against DOs. It could go on the flip side, though, as well, that the DOs that the program director has encountered in the program have been just fine academically, and so then, of course, it's not really going to be an issue. But those program directors are few relative to the number who have this bias against DOs and who would therefore, at least subconsciously, find it to be a red flag in your application if you are a DO or pursuing a DO instead of an MD. But not all hope is lost. There are certainly ways to overcome this red flag and to kind of mitigate the effects of it, if not eliminate them altogether. So certainly an easy one would be academic readiness. Talking about feedback that you've gotten from medical school. If you've taken the STEP test, talk about your outstanding STEP scores. If you've had an outstanding GPA, if you've got anything outstanding on the academic side, then you can portray that narrative or paint that picture, then absolutely do so. Of course, if you don't, if you're just average academically, or you feel like that's a direction is not really one you want to focus on because you don't want to focus on the academic side of medicine, that's okay too. You've got some other options for you. And this is the options that we're going to talk about now don't apply just to DOs, but they really do apply to anybody whose test scores or academic history is average or maybe even below average, which is that you then want to really hone in on, focus on, and flesh out your personal attributes. For example, are you somebody that nurses just love to be around? Medical staff love to be around? Can you get along well with anybody in the medical care team? Do you establish a great rapport with patients? Are you wonderful with their families? Do people just love being around you? Go for that. If that's what you've got, hit a home run with that. If you're really great on holistic care, if your passion is really for the personal side of practicing medicine, whatever those attributes are, just go with them. You don't need to think about trying to be everything to everybody. If academics is not your strong suit, that's fine. You don't have to make it your strong suit. But if it is your strong suit and that's a card that you would want to play, I would encourage it if you are a DO, because there is this bias against DOs. I hope you have found this video helpful. We offer a full range of services for personal statements and would certainly love to help you with yours. Come check us out at www.dlaeditors.com. Once again, www.dlaeditors.com.